Another quick video today. I'm looking at the JETBeam Mark 1 IBS that they sent in for review. As far as I'm aware, the IBS means infinite brightness setting, not the medical condition. A couple of interesting features with this. The most obvious one is you can take 14500 or AA batteries. And we've got quite a few strobe modes with this, but I'll get onto that later on. Included items, there's your user manual and your warranty card. You get a single spare O-ring and the standard JETBeam wrist strap. They've also given you a Type A to Type C charging cable, and that's for the battery. Pretty minimalist design on this from JETBeam. They seem to be going with this sort of smooth look. Size-wise, kind of around about average really for a 14500 model. On the tail cap though, there's your holes for the wrist strap. Does have a decent bit of knurling on there. There's your switch at the bottom. The cover on that is quite thick and the pressure requires a fair amount of pressure to turn that on and off. Got a low profile bezel at the top and that does have some grooves on it. Don't think you'll be smashing much glass with that, but it does give a bit of protection. They've gone for a smooth reflector, so we're expecting a little bit more range off of this. Unscrew the base or tail cap now. You can see square cut threads and there's your gold plated spring. You do get the 14500 included with this, and there's your Type C charging port at the top. As I mentioned earlier, you are free to use the AA batteries as well. You do get a lower power output, around about 220 lumens, but that's not a problem. I did try a few other 14500 batteries and they fit in there without a problem, including the unprotected ones. Go through the UI quickly. Half press for the momentary, a full press for on and off. That also has a mode memory. If you half press within 3 seconds, you'll cycle through the power levels and the strobe mode. Now if you want to adjust the power level with the ramping mode, you need to triple press on that level. This also works for the strobe. You can adjust the output of the strobe modes as well. If you want to pick the strobe mode, you need to double press that when you're on the strobe, and that will let you go through the 5 different strobes that they have. So you can pick the one that you prefer and it will go straight back to that. And if you want to go back to the factory settings, what you need to do is let it go through the ramping adjustment and then just leave it so that it finishes that. It takes about 35 seconds and then it will just finish off with a static power level. They do have a note in the manual that you need to use the lithium battery to set it to the highest output. Ramping mode's a bit different from the M64 that I looked at recently, whereas with that you switched into a separate ramping mode. With this it's really for tweaking the power levels. Charging speed for the 14500 is about half an amp. We'll have a look at some of the beam shots now. We'll start off with the E16, the Phoenix. I still like this model, it has quite a decent beam profile on it. Skill Hunt, which I looked at earlier this year, that has more of a spotlight effect, but it's quite well diffused. I think that's down to the optical lenses that they have on the front of that. Onto the Mark 1 now, you can see that it does have a bit more range compared to some of these compact lights. I've put the AA in there as well, just to give you an idea. You get 220 lumens, and that's still plenty enough light to see what you're doing. Then you go up to the turbo output of 700 lumens. Also included the TH10R, just to give you an idea of a more powerful output. That LED does have a fairly obvious tint shift. I've seen it on different makers and manufacturers. Might not bother you for real world use, it's not as noticeable. A few more beam shots now, so have a look through those and I'll give you a quick summary at the end. Couple of quick thoughts with the JETBeam. The switch at the bottom does stick out a bit. It's not stable standing up. When you've switched it on, it does lean over to one side. I would also prefer just a normal ramping mode, but that's really down to your own personal taste. You might like the fact that you can adjust the 3 levels. One other small point, it would have been nice to have had a clip with this. Some people attach it to a hat or a bag. Despite those points, I do still quite like the design overall. The fact that you can use the 14500 or the AA batteries is an obvious advantage for some people. Any thoughts or comments, do drop them down below. Always interested to read those. And as usual, thanks for watching.